Here's a situation that almost sounds unbelievable. Imagine spending $8,000, 8 grand on a home battery system, something that you bought for backup power, for solar storage obviously, for a bit of a peace of mind when the grid inevitably has a bit of a wobble. Occasionally it does happen, in Australia for example, and then one day Tesla remotely drains it to zero and leaves it dead, and they make it refuse to charge up. Sitting on your wall like a giant white iPad that doesn't turn on anymore. That is the reality for thousands of Powerwall 2 owners right now. And it's kind of an annoying thing to think about. And what is happening behind the scenes is quite messy, very expensive, and is now heading into class action territory in the United States. Honestly, I think this story is about to get a lot bigger. Let's jump into it. Hello folks, my name is Ben Alexxander. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you joining. These are the channel members. Thank you so much. Also, thank you very much, David, for buying me a coffee yesterday or this morning. I can't remember. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So this is one of those stories where I think when you read it and you might think, how is this even allowed? So I want to lay it out in a really simple way, because most people have only seen the headline, something like Tesla Powerwalls bricked, and they don't really understand what's happened and what it means for normal homeowners. So let's start with the basics. Tesla recalled about 10,500 Powerwall 2 units in the US, and units built between late 2020 and the end of 2022. So they're only a few years old, and after it turned out that the battery cells inside of them from a third-party supplier had a defect that could cause overheating, there were 22 overheating incidents, including 6 cases of smoke, 5 actual fires reported. So thankfully, no injuries, but still a home battery system overheating next to people's living rooms or bathrooms. It's not something that you mess around with. It is very, very serious. So Tesla did what Tesla usually does. They pushed out an over-the-air fix, except this one wasn't a fix. They remotely drained the batteries to zero and then locked them. You might think that's just safe, but it gets the plot thickens really. Basically, switched them off, and a lot of people woke up, checked their Tesla app, and instead of that nice little green battery icon, they were greeted with a very big grey square that said the system has been disabled for their safety. Owners suddenly had no backup power, no storage, and in some cases higher electricity bills because their whole home energy storage system relied on that Powerwall. So that is where this gets messy. A class action has now been filed. It's called Brown v. Tesla Inc. And the argument is basically this: Tesla knowingly sold a defective product, disabled it remotely without offering immediate replacement, and then left customers with what is essentially an expensive wall decoration for a very long time. For many, many months, they just haven't fixed them still. One of the quotes from the complaint says it perfectly. Rather than immediately providing any sort of refund at all, even a partial refund or prompt replacement within a month or 2 or even 3 or 4 months, Tesla basically just turned them off and they've done nothing about it. So in other words, your battery might catch fire, so we've turned it into a brick and good luck. So we're not going to do anything about it. Many, many months later, and there's nothing, no word from Tesla. They've not really explained what they're going to do about it. To be fair, Tesla isn't the only company in the world facing battery safety issues. Lithium-ion thermal runaway is very well documented. We all know about this. But the problem here is that the replacement program has not become active. They've not really done anything about it. So according to the lawsuit, homeowners are being told to wait many, many months for new units. Some people have not even been contacted back. Some installers have gone out of business since 2020, and so they can't get the new battery fitted based on that. One US owner wrote this comment online, and it's quite brutal. Quote, "My Powerwall 2 was affected by this recall and my unit has been drained and out of service for many months. Tesla won't respond. My installer is out of business. I'm stuck with a dead battery. I will never buy another Tesla product." I imagine a lot of people feel like that. It's a bit of a sucky situation, I get it. So this is not like a car recall where you can still drive your vehicle and book a service date or something like that. When your home battery is disabled, you lose the entire point of the system, especially if you rely on it during storms or outages, or you're in rural Australia or something like that. A lot of Americans do. That's the plan, you know, when they buy these things. So here's where this gets even more interesting. In Australia, when the recall happened earlier in the year, Tesla said it was considering compensating people for higher electricity bills or outages caused by the disabled batteries. But considering is very different from actually doing anything. Actually just saying that at the beginning and then not doing anything, they're two different things. So the lawsuit alleges that Tesla has not compensated almost any of the US owners, if any actually, and for the lost value or the downtime. Now, think about the scale. Over 10,000 Powerwalls need replacing in the US alone, and that's obviously it's a huge logistical task. And Tesla Energy is not a massive division of Tesla. They're growing quickly, but they don't have the same servicing infrastructure as the automotive side for sure. But from the customer's perspective, none of that matters. They bought a battery and it should last at least 10 years. Instead, some are sitting through winter storms and they've got no energy, dead batteries on their walls, and they've already paid for these batteries just 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They're not old at all. So what happens now? Well, this lawsuit could push Tesla to do one of, I reckon, 3 things, right? So 1, speed up replacements massively because they're being sued. 2, offer financial compensation for months of downtime. Obviously, they'll probably do that so that when they do go to court, maybe they look like they've done a little bit of compensation, that sort of stuff, and they can say they've started it, even if they've given just 2 people $1,000 or something like that. And 3, issue refunds or credits for customers stuck with that battery. Maybe just say, we'll cover your electric bill and we'll get these sorted. Something like that. Tesla's website right now does not really give a clear replacement timeline. They've not commented publicly on the lawsuit either, so we don't know what they're thinking. And this also raises bigger questions about the entire home battery industry, because these things are expensive. You don't buy a Powerwall for fun. It's got a purpose, and people buy it because they want to be able to run their houses on the electricity that they've harvested from the sun. So you buy it to store your solar energy, save money, or to protect your home during storms. And if they can be shut off with an over-the-air command, we need to trust the companies that make them as well. And this recall doesn't help with trust at all. Anything to do with things being bricked over the air from an American or a Chinese company. It's just a ropey business. It doesn't, obviously, it's a bit of a red flag, so we don't like that sort of thing. If anything, it highlights the risk of having critical hardware like home batteries tied to software control and remote management. I personally think it's great if you can have everything just locally at home, there are some good companies like Anker, for example, selling some pretty nice products, and you can have their big batteries on your house and you don't need to really have them connected to the company. So yeah, it's great when updates add features or improve efficiency. It's not so great when an update drains your $8,000 battery to 0 overnight, and then that's it for 3, 4, 5, 6 months or 7 or 8 months. My thoughts on this: Tesla need to be very transparent and much quicker. 2 basic things. If you just communicate a little bit, people will like you a lot longer. And yeah, the Tesla batteries are pretty good, so it's not like they really need to be worried about that, you know, people thinking that they're a terrible product, because they're not too bad, really. Homeowners should not be left with disabled units for many months on end, and if replacements are delayed, compensation should be automatic. It's just a non-negotiable. That's what it is. If you agree, put it in the comments. It's not something that owners should have to fight for. On the flip side, this might lead to better safety processes across the whole industry. But imagine if this happened at a larger scale. Millions of home batteries worldwide, not just 10,000, but 150,000, 400,000, something like that. It's a reminder that batteries aren't like fridges or microwaves. They are very complex, very big, very hard to dispose of, very expensive, high energy chemical systems, and they need to be treated with a bit of respect. And I think they need to have Tesla need to have some more foresight into what they're going to do, what's their plan of action when something like this does happen, because it will happen. So I'm curious to know what you think. If you had a Powerwall that Tesla remotely bricked, do you think they should offer you a full refund? Put it in the comments. I think they do. Even if you just put yes, or fair compensation for the downtime, just some money basically. Or is this just the cost of pushing technology forward? You're going to have issues and they're not really prepared for it. Let me know in the comments. I always read the comments. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Ben Alexxander. I appreciate your time. And a massive thank you to the channel members on Patreon and YouTube as well. Also, any thoughts on what I should be doing on Patreon, any ideas at all, that would be great, because I really want to make Patreon a very active place. And yeah, you help me make these videos. So thank you very much to all the people that chuck me a couple of dollars. And yeah, that's really nice. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.